What's up, fellow tycoons? It's Marquita here, aka your brand building bestie, aka the Saucey Tycoon, and I'm here to help you find your vibe. I help creative entrepreneurs build superior brands by helping them to find their vibe in brand marketing and Web3 technologies. All right. So today we're going to be talking about some common branding mistakes that you don't have to make. All right. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. If you are a person who has a short attention span, this vibe may not be for you. This is a long form content channel, so it's up to you whether you want to take advantage of this information or not. But thanks for joining. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. Let's go. All right, so first one we're gonna be talking about today is no foundation. So what I have found interesting throughout my entrepreneurship journey is that when I first started out on my entrepreneurship journey, I wanted to start a business because why does anybody want to start a business, right? You're tired of not having any money, being broke, just getting by. So that light bulb goes off and you're like, hey, I'm going to start a business to make money. So like that is the basic motivation that you can have for starting a business, right? But, well, let me write something up here. Actually, I'm messing up. Excuse me, y'all. Hold on. Bear with me. All right, so we'll start here. So reasons people start businesses. Okay. Money. Vanity. So that is another thing that I experienced along my journey, wanting to start a business for money, for vanity, looking good, worried about who's gonna see you and comparing yourself to other people's success and wanting to be like, oh yeah, when I start my business and I'm making this money, I'm gonna be this and be that. And yeah, y'all, I'm sure we all understand what that is. So, but of course, money is the main motivation behind why people start businesses. But here's the problem with letting money be the sole reason and motivation behind why you start a business, okay? And I'm gonna put, it's bigger than money. And don't get me wrong, money is definitely, we like money, okay? We like money, okay? We like money, all right? What I'm saying is it's bigger than money though. Meaning, if money is your main motivation, then you're basically it puts you in a scarcity mindset. Hopefully I spelled scarcity right. Okay? And then when you're in a scarcity mindset, that puts you in a survival mode. All right? And then what you end up doing is compromising. Ooh, I can't spell. Let's try that again. You end up compromising your integrity, morals, and values. All right? So we don't want to be in this type of energy here, okay? We don't want to do that. And in addition to being in this energy, which is a scarcity mindset, which is the survival mode, which has you then compromising your integrity, morals, and values because you're like, hey, I need this money. Instead, what you actually want to do is step into a role of creator. And I'll call it God mode. Okay? So I don't know what your personal beliefs, religious beliefs are, but whoever or whatever God means to you, higher power, for me, universe, higher power, God it's all one, okay? But you want to step into your creator mode, all right? Which allows you to come from a place of security, golly, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to be able to write as fast as I talk. Security, confidence, faith, or strong conviction. All right. And it is done attitude. So this is the energy that you want to be in when you're talking about starting a business, okay? So when you're operating from this type of energy, money becomes a plus / byproduct okay? And it's not the end all be all. And then you'll be able to call that abundance in effortlessly, okay? So that's what we definitely will dive into more on this channel, is how to operate in your creator / God mode and not operating from a place of scarcity and from a place of ending up in a place where you are compromising your integrity, your morals and such. Okay. So we gotta be confident in what we're building, because we don't want to be out here looking crazy for the love of money, you know. All right. So that was something for me personally that I learned in the early stages of my journey. I was able to step away from that scarcity mindset and understand that I was just doing, like, not any and everything, but I was just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Like, I gotta get the money, I gotta get the money. And when you're like that, you lack clarity and you lack focus and clear direction. And you're doing all of these things that actually end up working against you when you're in the process of going through your entrepreneurship journey, okay? So what I began to realize is that I needed a foundation, something that was going to help me be able to push through when I wasn't seeing results immediately, because it's definitely a journey. Entrepreneurship is a journey. Anyone that tells you that this stuff happens overnight, I'm not saying that it can't happen overnight. I'm not saying that it's supposed to be hard, but what I will say is that we all are different people. We come from different backgrounds. We grow up believing certain things, and those beliefs may or may not serve us and work against us. So it's important to get in the mind space and the head space to where you can actively be able to begin to recognize what beliefs you have that may not serve you and are inhibiting you from actually being able to align with where you're trying to go on your entrepreneurship journey. Okay, so upon realizing that and understanding those things, I understood that, hey, I'm gonna need a foundation to actually be able to go and look at as a reminder of, hey, this is why I want to do this. This is the why beyond the money. Like, once I understood that, yeah, the money is gonna be a byproduct. That's not something that I have to worry about. Because again, when you're in creator/God mode, you got your confidence, your faith, and you're operating from a place of abundance and strong conviction. So we gotta get past the doubt, the self-doubt. We gotta get past the scarcity mindset. And we got to step into that God/creator mode where we're like, yeah, we know we got this, but let's start mapping out how we're going to get there. And you may not have all the answers right up front, but if you start with this foundation that I'm about to go over, you'll be well on your way there. So I had to start thinking about what I do, or in this case, what you do, who would benefit from that. And I'll get into that and more in a second. And why am I doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? All right, so when we talk about what you do, so this will be whatever ideal you come up with for like a product, service, etc. Whatever that is. Get into a happy place, a happy space. Look at skills that you have, that you're good at, that you can do pretty efficiently, that you can do effortlessly. Figure out how to turn it into a product, or figure out what type of product, service, etc. that you can provide using those skills. All right. All right. Who will benefit? So who do you want to serve? Gosh darn it. So for me, when it came down to me doing what I do with the education that I provide here at Saucey Tycoon, I wanted to help other entrepreneurs because that was something that I personally could relate to, being on the entrepreneurship journey and wanting to help you guys filter through all of the noise, because there's a lot of, I just call it fluff. For lack of better words, there's a lot of fluff out there and hoops out there that people are teaching you to jump through. And I just wanted to create something more clear, concise, and to the point, basically, because I know that time is something that, you know, a lot of people may not have a lot of time for. Most people are still working a full-time job, and you may not have the time to go to a business school, marketing school, take a long course. So I wanted to help other entrepreneurs such as myself who may be looking for mentorship but don't necessarily have the access or funds to go and seek certain types of resources for that. So you can take that and figure out how to relate that to yourself and whatever it is that you want to pursue and building a business about. All right. And then we have the why. So this could be like your motivation, emotional tie, your passion. You can draw from motivation, you can draw from an emotional tie, you can draw from a passion. So for me, I say I fall into all three categories when it comes to this. I'm very passionate about brand marketing and Web3 technologies because I understand that these things together, when you're building a business, can free you from the normal life that we were conditioned and programmed to work towards. I was trying to say something else, but we'll just keep it that. We'll just keep it simple. All right. Emotional ties. I remember being stressed out, crying because I couldn't pay bills, or I remember one specific moment for myself, looking at my credit score, and it was like a freaking 4 or something. And just looking around at where I lived at the time and how I was barely able to afford rent. And I was just financially, I wouldn't say that I wasn't financially literate. I was somewhat financially literate, but I had a scarcity mindset and I was deep in survival mode. Very, very, very dark time in my life. So upon pulling myself together and saying, hey girl, you can do this, we gonna figure this out, you just need to start believing yourself, start working on my mindset. And then we got motivation. So motivating myself to draw myself first out of that type of mindset and get to a place where I start to feel confident and look at the world through abundant eyes instead of looking at the world as a place that's trying to keep me down, that I won't succeed in, and all the things that you tell yourself about who you are and what you can become until you get the right foundation. So what do you do? Who you benefit, or who will benefit or can benefit, and why? So that'll wrap up foundation, and we'll move on to the next one. Inconsistency. All right. So moving along on my entrepreneurship journey, I've started blogs, I've built websites and all these cool things. And at the time, and early on in my journey, I had no clue like what marketing was. And now my stuff was definitely all over the place. And some of the things that I was doing was not being consistent among my social media channels and platforms. So meaning, making sure everything looks the same so people can recognize you. We'll say everything looks uniform across all social, well, we won't say socials, but social media falls into that. So across all platforms, channels, etc. So you want to make sure you have hold on. What I mean by uniformity is making sure your logo, brand colors, your biz information. Oops, I'm going too fast for my hand. My brain is thinking faster than my hand can write. All right. Logo, brand colors, your business information, such as like your pricing and stuff like that. Things that are pertinent to your business. You want to make sure that those things are the same across all platforms and channels. You want to show up the same so that people can begin to start recognizing you, and that's where the customer journey begins. And that's something that we'll talk about later as well. All right. I think that's it for inconsistency. Yeah, that's the main thing. Just make sure your stuff is the same across all your social media channels and platforms. A lot of people think when you talk about like inconsistency with your business is like, oh, you got to be posting 3 times a day or however crazy amount that they're saying these days. You can post a lot, but if nobody knows who the content is for, if you're not consistent in how your overall brand business is looking when people see you, then it may have a less chance of sticking. All right, so we're gonna move on. And if I feel like I'm forgetting something, but if so, I'll just come back to it. No biggie. All right, so no clarity. All right, so when it comes to clarity, again, I draw from experience when it comes to all of this. When it comes to clarity, I remember when I first started out and I was trying to like get everybody to buy my stuff. I didn't have like a specific customer in mind. I just felt like, hey, everybody should be interested in what I got going on. And it's always good to figure out early on who you should be talking to and who you should be getting your content, products or services in front of. It'll save you a lot of trouble of just throwing stuff at the wall hoping something sticks. So the more clarity that you have, the better it's going to be in the long run, because it's going to help you to do things that are more conducive to your goals and your journey when it comes to building your business. So things like knowing who your customer is, God dang it, I don't know what is up with me today. I cannot write. Knowing who your customer is. Golly gee willikers. All right. And you also need to know like the back of your hand about your products and services. Know your products, know your services. Because people are going to ask questions. They're going to want to know what it is that you have. And so you want to seem knowledgeable. You want to be out here like you know what you're doing. Okay? Because if you aren't clear, and this is something as well I noticed on my journey, I would, I guess, get nervous and just kind of being like play it small. We'll just say that. Like you play it small and you're like, oh yeah, I got this. And you know, you really do have to walk in confidence and knowing and clarity. Because if you don't, people can see that and they're kind of like, oh, you kind of seem like you, I don't know. Then it starts to make them question. And then already when people are thinking about buying from any business, they're going to have questions. And if they feel like they have questions and they're not really for sure, if you can't get that clarity through to them and they can't feel like, oh, I need this, or guess this is for me, if they can't figure it out, then you've lost them. They're gone. So definitely know your products and services so you can clearly and concisely convey that to your customer. Okay. And then let's see, I'm trying to figure out what I want to call this next point that I got here. Then you want to, dang, I don't know what to call it. We will call it form a roadmap. So your roadmap would be like your vision for your business, your mission, your voice, and these are things that we definitely will go in depth, but I will talk about them each right now briefly for you guys. So your vision is what you see your business being able to consistently provide. Whatever product or service you have, whatever product or service that you have, what do you see your business how do you see your business consistently providing that product or service? What do you want to be known for? How do you want to be known for? What is it that you want customers to be able to identify, or what is it that you're trying to get to stick with your customers so they recognize you and they love patroning your business? They like buying from you or working with you. All right. Then you have your mission. And I kind of akin this to like goals for your business, but you're just picking like one overall. This is more like a impact type of vibe. So what is the impact that you want to make? Like, what's the overall bigger picture as far as the legacy that you want to leave? There we go. Legacy. The legacy that you want your brand, your business to have. Excuse me. I'll use business and brand interchangeably a lot, and I'll get into that in another video. Essentially, they are different things, but they can be synonymously used, but I have a separate video going more in depth about that. But for the sake of not confusing people, we're gonna use the word business. So sorry about that. Okay. Voice. So you want to think about things. Well, actually, we'll say tone. All right, so there we go. Yeah, so voice, tone can be used interchangeably, but you definitely want to consider giving your business a personality of sorts. When you're creating content, when you're providing your products or services, you want it to be relatable to the people that you are providing those services and or products to. And it makes it a bit more relatable when you can interject personality through your business. So one of my favorite brands that I'll use as an example is Sour Patch Kids, the candy. They have a social media page where the guy is basically, I think it's a guy. It seems like it's a guy that runs the page. But basically just, Sour Patch Kids are known for, these badass gummies that's always getting into shit on the commercial. So basically that page is pretty obnoxious and it lives up to Sour Patch Kids. But, that whole persona is associated with Sour Patch Kids, and so it's only right that it's reflected in the voice tone of their social media channel. So it definitely wouldn't make sense if you went to the page and it was like being all nice and so if it was a complete opposite of that, people will probably like, hey, this doesn't really match with what you guys are known for. So that's kind of what I'm getting at when we talk about voice. All right. Other things to consider as well. Boop, doo, doo, doo. Forming a roadmap. So you need to visualize where you're going. And why I say this is because you gotta, when you're in your creator / God mode, you wanna play. You know, this part right here, visualize where you're going. Like, you really wanna use your imagination here. This is going to make the journey a lot more fun, because you definitely don't want to get into it. Remember how we were talking about scarcity mindset earlier in survival mode? When you're in that creator mode and you're visualizing where you're going, you're using your imagination and you're lifting the ceiling, so to speak, on the potentiality of where your business or how your business can grow, what it can become and what it will do down the line. That's when this shit really starts to get fun. Like, when you're able to just really let yourself go and you have the mindset that you can achieve whatever it is. All you got to do is think about it and like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Whole different type of power that we're talking about there. So it's always fun to visualize where you're going, and it helps to keep you grounded in a sense, especially when you are dealing with the regular ins and outs, pitfalls and obstacles of being on the entrepreneurship journey, because there are going to be some. It's very spiritual, you know, because it pushes you to grow and explore different parts of yourself, and it prepares you for where you're going. So that's why it's a good idea to visualize where you're going. Let's see, what else in a roadmap? I think that's it for now. I'm not gonna add too much in on this roadmap because that'll end up going down a rabbit hole. So I wanna try to keep this video reeled in just a little bit so I don't overwhelm you guys with just a whole bunch of shit. So all right. So we talked about common branding mistakes, foundation, consistency, and I do not have consistency, all caps here, just I'm so inconsistent today. I'm gonna get it together though, I promise. All right. So these are the 3 things that stood out to me in the very beginning of my journey. Well, 3 of the things. I will be doing additional videos talking about common branding mistakes. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm hoping that you absorbed some of this information and took some value from this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, if you like the information that I talked about today, download my free ebook. The information is in the description. It's called Intro to Brand Building. And basically the information that I talked about today is in that ebook. So feel free to go snatch that up from the website. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, Marquita, your brand building bestie, signing out. Peace.